Mic check,
Mic
mic
Hello.
check.
Hello. Yep.
Welcome back, guys.
Okay, we're gonna start.
Yep.
Fire away, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to the third episode of Rice, Spice, and of course, Everything Nice, a podcast where three college students from Cal State University Long Beach discuss some racial and ethnic issues. By we, I mean myself, the Spice, and Harrison,
The rice.
and Colin, of course.
Everything nice.
This is meant to be less of a research-based podcast and more of a conversational, and what we can do moving forward with information that we find. Today's topic for conversation is not only but white privilege. So,
Yeah, not super
what
stoked
is
about
white
this one,
privilege?
but
Textbook definition of white privilege is inherent advantages possessed by a white person on the basis of their race in a society characterized by racial inequality and injustice. So, I'm going to start off with some quick questions, real quick, to ask Colin, of course, because he is
Right.
everything nice in this podcast. How do you personally define white privilege?
I mean, oh God, how do I even open with that? We're just getting right into the uncomfortable stuff, huh?
Yes, we
I
are.
guess it's especially in the United States, like systemically, like our ancestors illegally emigrated here, put a flag down, so this is our land now. So like everything that devolved from that, from like our laws to our society, has all been predominantly like white. And like because that was the initial and like the main source of like people, it's like it's the laws that were generated, and you saw it like in as far as like the civil rights movement, the Zoot Suit riots. Like you consistently see this ideology that white is right, and if you do have more rights afforded to you, it's thank God it's dialed that back to be more equitable now than it was way back when. But if like I have opportunities inherent to my skin color that have nothing to do with me. Like I have
Must be nice.
oh, shit. I've got an image that has nothing to do with who I am as a person that was just simply bestowed upon me simply by my birth. So like, you see a group of black people walking down the street towards you, and like some people will fucking cross the street, But if you see a group of white guys coming towards you, you might get a little uncomfortable. But if they're all white, you're like, all right, I'll just walk through them. There's like something inherent. I mean, even with the like how we had ChatGPT generate our name, we're like, hey, we're doing a racial conversational podcast, and we want to play on the different ethnicities, and it came up with rice, spice, and everything nice. What the fuck does an AI that scours the internet find that associates white people with being nice? Like, what? Why does it go? Why doesn't it make Harrison nice, or like Studious, Gluteus, and Big Bang Bootius? I don't know. Why did it make the white person synonymous with the concept of being nice? Like there's this notion of like with white privilege that like white people are soft. Pepper is too spicy. Mayonnaise is spicy. Like I got crazy with the cookout, y'all. I made fucking, I don't know, ranch wings or some shit. Like there's a concept that pervades in our communities that's like white people are soft. White people are generally nice. White people have more rights afforded to them. But like
Yeah.
for me personally, like I didn't ask for this, but it's bestowed upon me whether I like it or not, just because of my skin color.
Harrison, do you feel the same way? Or what is your personal definition of white privilege?
Um, yeah, I would say the textbook definited it pretty well. It just referred to people are taking advantage or benefit from being white. I'm Asian. I'm Chinese. It doesn't look like white people at all. So I never have this happen on me, but I definitely see some example of this on social media or my life. So yeah. So you want to jump into your next question?
Yeah, yeah. Next one is again, Colin. When did you first become aware of your concept of white privilege?
Um, I mean, like,
Or
even
did
calling
you
back,
even?
yeah, I mean, kind of calling back to the first episode. Like, I was born in like a gated community surrounded by other white people, and like, it never really clicked that like the people that were of different ethnicities or cultures that like moved out of the neighborhood, it never like snapped into place that there are reasons why they couldn't afford to live there.
Do you
Or
think
like
it,
the
it
school I went to, like I never associated like the differences in our skin color until I got older.
do you think that majority or all white people, um, how you just say it clicked in your mind? Do you think it clicks on other people's minds as well,
Oh,
or
fuck
is
no.
it
And
just
if they
very?
do, if it fuck no, dude. Like a lot of people just take that shit for granted because they have the privilege of like the power of the benefit of the doubt. You know, if somebody calls like if a black person calls the cops and the cop rolls out and it's because he and his neighbor who's white got into an altercation, the preconceived notion is that the black person is the person starting the problem. You know, with the like the group of people walking down the street scenario, like there's embedded benefits to being white and like the association that that brings. Like I don't think a lot of people like acknowledge it, and if they do, they probably take an advantage to it. You know, like they
Yeah,
get like as someone who's being white, like a lot of white people have the luxury of being ignorant to the problems of racism, and like it's not our problem. Like we're white, we don't have to deal with it. Why would I go to bat for somebody else? Like I got enough shit on my plate. Like they get they don't have a they don't have the responsibility. Well, I mean, fuck, they have the responsibility to use that voice as like a voice of change. But a lot of them opt out because they don't feel like they have to. You know, like
oh, yeah,
they get to be ignorant to other people's problems strictly from their color.
yeah. I totally agree with you on that one. But personal stories. Let's hear some personal stories of or witnessed any. Um, I'm gonna give one for example. So I used to be married before, right? Of course, I'm divorced now. Hooray!
Wait. You telling me somebody liked you enough to marry you?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just some crazy stuff.
And
But anyways, yeah. So I used to be married, divorced now, happily divorced. Woo! She took the house. Anyways, whatever. Um, she was of a different color of race, specifically. So, um, this was when I was very ignorant to like the white privilege type, pretty much. She wasn't white, of course, but she was a darker skin color than me. That's for sure. And I noticed, or she would speak to me about how, for instance, we'll go to the store and she'll be like, just, I'm gonna walk ahead and just look how people look at me and then how people look at you differently. So I will walk first and nothing really too crazy that I would notice. But then I would like stand like 2 aisles away and then she will walk in and I noticed that the workers will look at her from like the corner of her eye or suspiciously like that to see if she's doing anything that she's not supposed to be doing. Mainly on the fact of the color of her skin, and other people with a lighter skin tone, as I would see, didn't have to deal with that. Like it wasn't at all. Like that same store, I purchased something and they just gave me the receipt and left. She purchased something and then at the when we were leaving, the security asked to see her bag real quick and see all the items that were purchased were from the receipt. So
Damn.
it's like it's small things that I noticed that really opened my eyes and kind of like I guess people would say I was awoke from it. Um, Especially when she started pointing everything out, like just many different scenarios. It wasn't even just with the store. It was also how like uh as simple from the waitress or the waiter Or even like when we get pulled over, like what was the reason for it? It was just it was bullshit reasons for it. It never used to happen to me. But when she's with me, it happens all the time. And I started taking a lot of note to that. I'm like, holy shit. I see the difference. Like I became, as you would say, woke. But other than that, Colin, give me some experience. I know you got some.
Oh God. I've been pulled over 3 times ever in my
That's
life,
three. That's
and
crazy.
yeah, I know. One of them was warranted. I'll own that. But 2 of the times I got pulled over because I forgot to turn my headlights on my car on, and car's like it's like the base model, so like it doesn't have like the it's getting dark, auto turn the lights on. I have to actually click them on. And I remember
Yeah.
I got pulled over for that. We were just leaving a frozen yogurt place, me and my girlfriend at the time, both of us obviously white. Um, and we didn't experience much anything. The cop pulled us over and was like, where you headed? Where are you coming from? And we were like, I apologize. Like, your headlights are out. And I was like, I'm so sorry. They're manual. Like, I forgot to turn them on. He's like, well, where are you guys going? I'm like, well, we just came from the frozen yogurt place over there, and we're headed back to my house to watch a movie and make some chicken parmesan. Like the whitest thing you could say to a cop. And like, why I pulled you over? I was like, I have no idea. I'm so sorry. And he goes like, for like a million different reasons, dude. Your lights are out. You're doing this. Your windows are tinted as hell. And he's like, well, I mean, my windows at home are tinted too, so I'm not gonna write you up for that. But you got to get those lights fixed immediately. You're a danger to people on the road right now. And it was dark. It was nighttime. And he let me off with a warning. And
Oh,
I've never been issued a ticket, except for that the
oh,
one I did earn it. I doing dumb shit.
oh,
Um,
must be nice.
I mean, I have a privilege of having a positive relationship with the police generally. You know what I mean? Just because
Must
I'm,
be outstanding to have that.
yeah, it is
What
pretty
city
fucking.
was this, if you don't mind me asking?
Fuck, I think we were in Westminster at the time, and we were driving back to Huntington
Westminster.
Beach.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same experience when I was it wasn't even like I wasn't even driving. That's the thing. I was in the parking lot of Del Alma Mall. That's in Torrance, California. I was 16 and I had a hot date, and I asked my dad if I could use his truck to take this hot date to the movies and get some Buffalo Wild Wings. You know,
Sounds like a good
nothing
date night.
crazy. On some humble shit.
Yep.
And when we were done with the whole date, it was like 7 p.m. We started early. We were just sitting in my dad's car, just talking. When you just get into those long conversations, you just
Yep.
talk about life and you just forget about time. And then we're just sitting in there talking. The car's turned off and everything. But security had came as well as Torrance PD had came. I don't know why. To this day, I do not know why, because it was literally in the parking lot of Del Alma Mall, and it's public. It's 7 p.m. I'm fucking 16 years old. I look like a fucking kid. I'm just sitting in the car talking to a girl, and they told us to get out of the car. We got out of the car, and without them even asking, they just started ransacking the shit out of the car. I mean, they went into the glove department. My dad used to drive this old Expedition where the glove department, where if you open it, it falls down. So
Oh,
they opened that, everything fell down. They're just ravaging through it, looking through the seats, and then, at first, me thinking this is pretty normal stuff that happens. So I'm like, fuck, dude, they're just fucking harassing us again. I'm not doing anything wrong. And then I told them what I was doing. They let me go, obviously. But now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, I don't think this would have happened if I was, of a little more lighter skin color. Or like, cause I never understood it. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just sitting in the car, just minding my business, just talking about life. Yeah, Colin, must be nice.
I didn't ask for this,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you guys definitely have different experience as me because since I immigrated here when I was say 18, so I don't have a lot of experience for that. But
Yeah.
I do see some example on social media that connect to the Colin. He was talking about a yoga plan, right? And I was watching a video about African American guy. He took a video about him in front of police, and then police started to being like really mean to him, and then he told another black dude to grab a Starbucks and walk in front of the police, and the police are seems pretty friendly to him. So I assume somehow Starbucks are connect to the white privilege.
It's
Would you
it's
guys?
kind of it's kind of odd that
Yeah.
you could definitely see that. Like it is just a coffee shop chain that's been around the world, but like when you think of Starbucks, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because the first thing that
White.
comes to mind for me is like a white girl opening like or ordering like a mocha Java Frappuccino bullshit with like 8 different modifications to it. But like that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yep.
It's a coffee
Yep.
shop. Why do we like? Why are we so quick to associate a coffee shop with like white people? And why does that make like in your instance of seeing like it was on social media and it was like it might have been made in jest, but like we associate a race with being potentially violent or dangerous, but as soon as they're holding a Starbucks coffee cup, why does that seek to neutralize the otherwise potential like threat that's perceived by that other race? It is like in and of itself, a company is getting associated with an element of white privilege. Like
I
how?
think that will
Mhm.
have to go with
Why?
like how the media portrays all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like throughout history, like just how you said earlier, this whole country was based on the white man's ideals, and it was tailored to the white man. And overall, through generations of like media and how everything happened with the civil rights, all that, Zoot Suit riots, just whites only, fountain schools, all that. The way all that had an effect is just how it's portrayed now. It all has to do with how the media did it for like, you see a white guy walking down the street. Okay, cool. It's 10 p.m. He's walking down the street. All right, I probably still won't even cross the street. You see anyone else of different skin color walking down the street past 10 p.m. nighttime, majority of people will probably cross the street. And it's just the way the media portrayed it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I don't know about you guys. Feel free to chime in.
I mean, dude, look at fucking. It's gonna get real hot, but Trayvon Martin, black kid in a hoodie walking through a neighborhood after going to like a liquor store, right? Like or a convenience store, and Zimmerman, not a cop, pulls up on him and it shot and kills an unarmed 17-year-old claiming self-defense. And like the police, after they initially stopped him, they opted not to arrest him, whose father's white and his mom's Hispanic, but like he looked white. He just walked up and shot a fucking kid. Like if you guys have ever listened to that phone conversation with Zimmerman calling the PD and they're telling him like, hey, do not engage, leave the guy alone, wait for cops to show up. This guy gets out of his car, interacts with, shoots and kills a young black kid for the crime of walking through the fucking neighborhood with his hood up. Imagine you just got out of fucking school, right? You got done with your homework. Mom gives you $5 to go to like the 7-Eleven across the like down the street. You go get 7-Eleven. You go get a Slurpee and a fucking a Kit Kat or some shit, right? And you're going back. The guys are all saying, "Hey, we're gonna jump on Call of Duty. Come play with us." Like I was like, "All right, guys, I'm coming home right now. I just stopped at 7-Eleven. I got some snacks. It's game time. It's the weekend. We ain't got to worry about going to school tomorrow. Whatever." And some white dude or white looking dude gets out of a truck and says, "What are you doing here?" Fucking ends up shooting you. Like, and the cops don't initially arrest him? Why is there so much white privilege bestowed on somebody for fucking
It's
like,
that
yeah, he
white.
was later convicted for second-degree murder, but it's like, dog,
It's
how?
like
Yeah.
it's the same scenario if I would have done that, how the cops reacted, how they would have reacted if once they showed up on the scene and they saw me with a weapon. It would have probably been more aggressive than they would have calling it the same thing.
And it's like, dog, the ideas of like Karens and shit being like, there's a black person in my neighborhood and I think he has a gun, knowing that like saying that will cause the police response to come out a lot stronger and a lot harder than if it's just there's a black guy who's trimming a lawn and he says he lives here, but I know everybody who lives here. I'm white. I'm on the homeowners association. Like there's this idea that's perpetuated by just being white that gives you, you know, more proprietary access to benefits that other races don't have. And there's negative connotations that come with it, but like the overarching that white is right, and it's still perpetuated to this day. Like even with the presidential fucking race, dude, white is right. If you don't look like us and you don't act like us, then the only way you're getting accepted is if you take on all of our ideas. Like, dude, it's fucked, man. But what do we do moving forward? You know, like, I mean, personally, like I have a duty and a privilege now that I'm like aware, or since I became aware of my privilege, that like I have to use that. I have like both a duty and a responsibility to use that as a force to speak for those who do not have the ability to speak for themselves. Like my shit weighs more. I have to use that to advocate for those who do not have the same weight.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like this generation is a lot more aware of it now. And then the previous generations or the past 10 years or 20 years, especially with white privilege.
I mean, flash forward a couple hundred years, dude, when that white guy and that brown girl got together and that black dude and that Asian person got together and they had kids and they had kids. Like, they've projected it on, like, the History Channel of what the future of, like, the human race is going to look like. Eventually, it'll just be a shade of brown, dude. You can only mix white and black paint together for so long before you get a shade of gray. And if it ultimately ends in that, who's fucking to say, like, oh, like, even, bro, look at, like, the differential treatment amongst black people in and of itself for being light-skinned versus dark-skinned. Even within that, like, there's a whole notion to, like, the shade of black. Like, we're all gonna look roughly the same shade of melanin eventually. But until that time, we ride it out and just take advantage while we can. Like, it's fucked. Like, we have to be better. We have to do more.
We gotta be better. And Collins people just gotta be more open.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, if you're, like, I guess as a closing message, like, if you're a white dude and you have friends that are brown, black, Asian, you have a moral obligation to stand up for them and to fight for their rights just as much as your own. You should not have a stronger inclination to support your own rights when other people are still looked down on and we still see hate crimes enacted on them. Use your voice for something greater than yourself. And with that, I'm gonna say peace out on this conversation. This one's been a hot button for me.
Ooh, we've been on the hot seat for a cool minute. But yes, be the change, people. Be the change.
Be the change.
Well, that will conclude. If any closing comments by yourself, Mr. Harrison. I know this topic didn't really pertain much to you since you're like in the borderline in the middle where you're given that privilege but not really given that privilege. So that must be nice as well for you. But
I got an idea for next episode. Why don't we talk about stereotypes, huh?
Oh yeah.
That way you guys get to be in the hot seat too.
Oh man, you do that, I'm gonna act like the stereotype you want me to be.
Oh my god.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to another episode of course, the greatest podcast in the world, Rice, Spice, and Everything Nice, where a bunch of college kids, mainly just 3, because it's us, talk about racial and ethical issues in the world. Thank you for joining us. See y'all next week.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Peace. Thank you.
Peace.